Hi again, Dr. Turri here from the Hearing and Dizziness Wellness Center. Just wanted to spend a few minutes with you today and talk about hearing and audiology, okay? We're getting calls at the office and emails concerning audiology. What is audiology? What is an audiologist? And what's the difference between that profession and what's called a hearing instrument dispenser or hearing instrument specialist? What is the difference? So let's talk about that a little bit. In the state of Florida, as well as other states that can dispense hearing aids, three types of professionals that kind of work with ear-related issues, okay, as well. But two primary professions and licenses that are regulated by the state for dispensing of hearing aids. You've got an audiologist, which is what I am. I'm a board-certified doctor of audiology, which means I have an undergraduate degree, equivalent a bachelor's in communication sciences and disorders. I also have a master's degree in audiology, so that's 2 extra years of college education. And then on top of that, I have a doctorate, so that's another 3 years training and a residency. So a lot of college, a lot of school, where we focus on anatomy and physiology, we focus on functional impairment, we focus on treatment, we focus on the psychological aspects of these disorders. You know, everything from soup to nut as it relates to the inner ear for not just hearing, but also dizziness, vertigo, tinnitus, you know, that ringing that some people get in their ears. And we are trained to understand it, why it happens, diagnose it, provide treatment, get you to other professionals when it's something that's out of our scope, and make sure you get complete care. Now let's talk about the other profession that you can go see if you want a hearing aid. It's a hearing instrument specialist or hearing instrument dispenser. There's a state regulatory board. There's a state license for dispensers. You don't have to go to college. I think it's a high school diploma or equivalent. You have to have some on-the-job training. You submit an application to the state. You have a sponsor, someone that's already licensed that agrees to train you. And then you take a state test. So this profession is trained and licensed to test hearing strictly for the purposes of dispensing hearing aids. So again, audiologists, doctor's degrees now, that's the required minimum to become an audiologist. To get a license in the state of Florida, you have to have your AUD. To dispense hearing aids, you don't need a doctorate. You simply need a license for hearing instrument dispensing. On-the-job training, you take a course over the weekend. They teach you how to take a test. And as long as you pass the state test and somebody signs off that you've worked with them for a few months or a certain number of hours, you can get a license and hang your shingle, and you're a hearing instrument expert. The biggest difference I've found in these two professions, other than obviously the difference in the educational requirements, is the background of the individuals practicing. What you'll find in the hearing instrument specialist model is a sales model. Typically these folks have been recruited from other sales fields, cars, jewelry, real estate, vacuum sales, things like that. People that are really good at relationships. They're great at sales. They're uninhibited when it comes to really trying to solve your problems and ask you to commit to purchasing hearing aids. Their background clinically, as far as providing service and making recommendations for hearing aids or getting you clinical referrals for medical conditions, things like that, the background in that obviously is less intense because they don't have that training from the graduate school years to teach you all the anatomy and physiology and the other things you have to be worried about when you're working on somebody's ears. So again, hearing instrument specialist, very good at sales, very good at providing that initial contact, very good at getting you in the door and helping you make that decision to say, yeah, I want to hear better. But typically, the background is just a little bit different. So when you see an audiologist, you're seeing somebody with several years of college, including postgraduate work in audiology, focusing on anatomy and physiology and treatment and all the different things that come in play when we're talking about the ear. When you see a dispenser, typically you don't have that college training. You do have a license from the state of Florida. You typically have a stronger sales background, and most of your training is in the sales process of helping somebody make that decision. So let's recap. We've got the question that I was asked was about hearing and audiology. What's the difference in these professions? Why see an audiologist versus a dispenser? And I hope I've explained that to you. And remember, I've met very, very good audiologists. I've met very bad audiologists. Same thing goes for dispensers. There's very good dispensers. There's also very bad dispensers. The most important question you've got to answer is find a professional close to you, someone that you feel comfortable with, confident in their credentials, confident that you've talked to people that they've seen before that are happy with their service. ultimately, you got to work with this person long term. It's not something that you're going to go in one day, you see them once, and then you're out of there. Long-term relationship with your hearing. So make sure, one, you're comfortable with them. Two, make sure they're competent and check their credentials. And obviously I'm biased. I really believe 7 years of college, graduate training really pays off when you're trying to help somebody hear better, as opposed to, you know, a test and a little bit of on-the-job training. But I'm biased. I am a doctor of audiology, and I guess I'd like to think all that extra training hits home. But anyways, you got plenty of testimonials on our website. We can provide more to you if you need more evidence of that. Stop by and see us. Call me anytime. Email me at drturri@fixmyhearing.com. Thanks again for taking some time with us today.